Welcome to the Gag Is podcast with me, your host, Charlie Shante, where I share the roller coaster of my life, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. After becoming a teen mom at 14 and a widow by the age of 21, it's a journey filled with tears and laughter, reminding you that even in the toughest moments, there's hope. The gag is, life may be unpredictable, but it's always worth living. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Gag Is podcast. I am your girl, Charlie Shante. Thank you for coming back and kicking it with your girl for another week. So happy to be here. Oh my gosh, I was talking to somebody the other day and how is it almost it's the middle of March? And I was talking to somebody and they was like, yeah, girl, it's Mother's Day stuff out already. And I'm like, how? We barely didn't scratch the surface in March, but time is moving. Time is waiting for no one. So, whatever you're going to do, act on it because time waits for no one. So y'all know it's Women's History Month. So, I'm going to keep up with the history of the month, and talk about some stuff. And I feel like as a podcaster, I consider myself a businesswoman now because my podcast is produced under me. My bad, I'm tripping. I jumped right into it. Today we're going to talk about being a female in a professional aspect, and we're going to take it from there. Now, let's jump back forward a couple of paces. As a podcaster, I consider myself a businesswoman now because my podcast is produced underneath my company. It feels so good to say that, under my company. Like, my name is big and bold upon that thing. But, there's a little bit of, it can be scary sometimes. And if you watched last week's episode, I talked about females supporting each other and how I am big on that. And as a female professional, we have to self-promote ourselves because, we are women and we come in there and we have a nice tailored resume or what have you. However, that doesn't always translate into the best candidate, although we may be the best candidate. So we have to promote ourselves a little bit more. And I was sitting thinking a couple days ago, I have my podcast, but I realize I have to promote a little bit more. It's crazy. I've talked in a previous episode about how my target audience crazy. Like, I have a target audience and then I have an audience that listen, and it's crazy because they don't match. Like, my target audience is a woman in her 30s who has children, who's going through some things, not necessarily bad, but she's trying to raise her kids. She's trying to work and do things like that. But when it comes to the dynamics of this podcast, my listening clientele are middle-aged white men. Like, I went and looked at the analytics, and that is really, really crazy. So we have to promote ourselves just a little bit more so that we can be seen. And so as I was looking at my analytics, I'm like, man, I've got to promote myself a little bit better because I don't know if people tell the truth or they lie. I give people the benefit of the doubt. But some of the people that I know, they're like, I didn't even know you had a podcast. And it's like, are you not on social media like that? Are you telling me the truth so I don't be like, well, how you ain't know? And I'm always posting about it. Or did they genuinely not know? Because the day that I may have posted my content, they may not have seen it. They may have gotten on social media a couple of days later, or it may not have hit their algorithm. So I'm like, man, I gotta post a little bit more. I gotta have a little bit more visibility out there. So I think I don't think, I know I'm gonna practice doing that a little bit more so that I can bring more traffic to the Instagram page. I can bring more traffic to YouTube. I kind of have like a plan set in motion already so that I can get that. So your girl is working on it. I'm trying to self promote. And if anybody has any tips or tricks, let me know. I'm always open to that. Now, as women, we are less likely than males to celebrate or appreciate praise for an accomplishment. This is so true. And I feel like we downplay it because it's kind of like, oh, okay, I got a raise, or oh, okay. One of my biggest things that my best friends get onto me about is when I graduated. It's been 2 years now since I've had my master's degree, and that is something that I don't feel like I celebrated as much as I should have. I was excited for it, but during the time that I got that degree, like a couple of weeks later after I had got my degree, I had finished my classes because I finished the classes in May and I had graduation in June. And within that stretch of 6 weeks, I finished all my classes and turned in my final paper. A couple of weeks later, I had emergency surgery. And then a couple of weeks after that, I had graduation. And then 3 days later, my grandma passed away. And I don't know if I just feel like I was probably going through a lot at that time. And I just wasn't in the mood to celebrate. But now, like, somebody asked me, I'm like, yeah, I'm educated. I got a whole master's degree. Like, yeah, like tooting my own horn. And I don't think we do that enough because that's an accomplishment to sit down and take 6.5 years out of my life to get a degree. Like, that means that's time, that's effort, that's dedication. Like, we gotta, excuse me, we gotta separate, we gotta celebrate those wins because that's not a small feat. Like, the average African American woman, you know, may have some sort of post high school training, but when you get into a 4 year degree, a graduate degree and above, the numbers get smaller, smaller, smaller. And then if you look at those numbers for someone who was a teen mom, the numbers are extremely low, like so low that the latest data that I found was like from the early 90s. Like, there has not been any updated data for that. But even with that being said, the numbers were like less than 5%. So, gotta start celebrating these wins. You know, over the last year, I've gotten my flowers because people are like, man, you started a podcast. Like, you don't have a big, podcast where, people are just flocking, flocking, flocking. But that takes time, and the fact that you put in the time, the effort, and you do that on the daily, on the weekly, to research and produce content for us to come view, that says a lot. So let's not sweep that under the rug. And like I said in last week's episode, we're celebrating a year of my company, not a year of the podcast, but a year of the company. So I think I need to start celebrating a little bit more. I kind of sort of little bit. Me and my best friend, we did kind of go out one day this weekend, and was it yes, we had one of our girls brunches, and we did celebrate the company being a year old, and she is quote unquote my manager, so we did celebrate that. Imposter syndrome, and I do have 2 episodes on imposter syndrome. I will link those down below so you can listen to those. I have 2 episodes on imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome, I'm gonna say, plays a big part in why I don't celebrate a lot. I sometimes feel like I don't deserve. Tank say, maybe I deserve. I feel like sometimes I don't deserve the praise that I get because I feel like I'm just, okay, I did something, like, big deal, whoop de doo. But in the African American community, as a female, we go through so much. So any accomplishment needs to be celebrated. Um, my accolades are that I have a bachelor's degree in health science because I was going to pre-med route. My first love is always science. I told y'all previously I'm a STEM girl, so I wanted to do epidemiology. I wanted to become an epidemiologist. But then as I started getting into that, I discovered that my real passion and real joy is in public health, policies and procedures. So that is what my master's degree is in. It's in public health administration with the emphasis on policies and procedures. I want to make sure that people are getting the care that they need, and I want to make sure that the policies and the procedures are there to assist them. Yo, like that's something to be celebrated because I want change for the people. So that's something that, you know, we should be celebrated. A little known fact about moi: back in 2007 or 2008, I have to look because I don't remember off the top of my head. I was featured in Glamour magazine. I have a photo in there and I have an article in there as well. I'm gonna have to put a picture of it because I don't know if it is online because it was done so long ago. But every time in that song, um, don't tell me model, don't tell me that you model if you ain't been in Vogue. Does Glamour count? Can somebody ask him, does Glamour magazine count? Because, I wasn't modeling, but do that count? But anyways, sometimes I get embarrassed a little bit because it's like, I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I get embarrassed, but I don't know. I don't know. But we got to celebrate the wins with the wins. And you celebrate the L's too, but not so much heavy emphasis on the L's, but on them W's. All right, moving right along. Um, I talked about this last week, women supporting women, and I feel like we don't do it enough. Yeah, my goddaughter was like, "Mommy, you was on a rant." I'm like, "No, baby, I wasn't on a rant. I just, I'm one of those people. I just want everybody to get along. You know, whether you support somebody or you don't, that don't mean to hate on. You can get online every day and see the hate. And what the saying that I always hear: what is what good is going to come to you by dimming somebody else's light? Like, how does that help you? Does it help you shine bright, or how does that help you? Like, I was always told, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. Like, how hard is that? Like, that's like child stuff. Like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. My best friends make it a point, and I do as well. They make it a point weekly because I talk to them weekly. And every once in a while, I'll jump on a FaceTime call with the both of them. But we always let each other know how proud of each other we are. They support me. They don't support me just because they're my best friends and they have to. They support me because they're professional women. And both of them are on two different career paths, but both of them are bosses. Like they're bosses and they're a few years older than me, but since they're bosses in their respective fields already, they pour into me to help me and to ensure me that I can be a boss just like them. I kind of can call myself a baby boss. Even though I have a podcast, they don't look at me like, oh, you got a podcast and people hear you. They treat me regular, the same. They treat me boss. They give me information about what I can do. And some of the stuff that I talk about on here, they know, and some of the stuff they don't know. And they're like, "Oh, I didn't know that about you," but I'm proud of you. And they always make sure they're like, "Oh, I gotta go make sure I download this week," and they download, they share, and they support. I have another big supporter, Robin. That is like my my ride or die right there. Like that, she gonna always stand up for me 10 toes down. She been a supporter since day one. When the first episodes came out from Unpredictable Lifestyle. And she, like, I keep people around me that's gonna give me, they gonna support me, and they gonna give me the real feedback. Like, I don't want nobody around me that's gonna be like, oh yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good, knowing it wasn't good, and yeah, we can support each other, like I'm gonna harp on that all month long. Ladies, we can support each other. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. It's not gonna dim your light. It's not gonna take away from you. Like I said last week, by not supporting other females, you never know, you may be hindering yourself. If your females that you hang around, if they're not giving you affirmations, if they're not lifting you up, if they're not trying to give you advice for the better, you might want to re relook at who you got around me. There's an episode coming out in a couple of weeks that if it wasn't for Nikki, man, it's a finance episode. If it wasn't for Nikki, but we'll get into that in that episode. Hillary Clinton once said, "Women are the largest untapped reservoir of talent in the world." OMG, if that ain't powerful. She said the largest untapped reservoir of talent, which means we can do anything that we want to do. We just got to put our mind to it. We got to stay the course, and we got to understand that success is not overnight. I don't want any overnight success because I feel like it's not genuine. Although it catches like wildfire and people are like, oh, like, who is Charlie? Whatever. I don't want it to be stagnant like pond water, but I want it to be organic. I want it to be genuine, and I want it to be relatable, and I want to be here for a while. I want to be in this arena. I want to be in this space for a while. There are days that I wish that I would have started this podcast sooner, as it's been in the works for a minute. And even though I didn't start sooner, it doesn't mean that I still can't get to where I want to go. So with that, I'm saying, just because you haven't started your dream doesn't mean that your dream isn't achievable. Just because you haven't started your dream doesn't mean that your dream isn't achievable. Yes. So if you needed a sign to go ahead and get started, here's your sign. Go ahead, get started, take baby steps. I have a laptop, I have a tablet, and I have a phone. In my free time, I'm looking up. I've already had it built out. I build it out in quarters, what I want to do for the podcast. I'm like, okay, I want to do this. So with me wanting to do this, I got to do X, Y, Z. And I take my time and I do that. The time that I use playing around, playing games on my phone, or being on social media, I've turned that time into research time, because I want to be here. And in a few years, I want to be able to be there for other women, no matter what business they may have or what it is that they're doing. I want to be a support for them, for the people that I keep around me. I don't keep many females around me because I don't want nobody to feel like they're in competition with me. I don't want to be in competition with nobody. So if you feel like you got to be in competition with me, I don't want to be your friend. I don't want you in my circle, because I feel like I would always have to watch my back, because you might be trying to bring me down. That's just what it is. That is just what it is. Now, one of my favorite portions of this show. You can't make this up. I thought about giving y'all a crazy story. Well, this story is crazy, but I thought about an alternate crazy story. But I feel like this one gonna do it. So y'all know I live in Florida. In this, when I actually heard this on the news, and I have a site that I go to where I look at crazy stories and kind of see what can I talk about to break up the seriousness of an episode. So let me just read y'all the headline. Kangaroo on the loose in a Florida apartment building. Again, kangaroo like Joey on the loose in a neighborhood. And this is actually crazy because this happened where I live. This happened in good old Tampa, Florida. And I was laying in the bed and I was like, I know they are not saying that there's a kangaroo on the loose. A kangaroo done escaped Busch Gardens. First of all, we as people got to stop taking our phone out for everything. But I get it. If you don't film it, it didn't happen. This is one of those times that I'm glad y'all filmed it, because I would have told you whatever you were smoking, you need to stop. Stop it, because it is messing your mind up. So peep this. Hillsborough County Sheriff's deputies got a call about an unusual animal moving around the pool area in an apartment complex. Now I'm going to see if I can find a video, because the video is very wild. The video is wild and the commentary is even wilder, because it's kangaroo out here. These, you can't make this up. That's what the segment called. The segment is called "You Can't Make This Up," and you literally cannot make this up. It was a kangaroo, and this is the confusing part, because there is a place called Busch Gardens over there, and I know they have kangaroos and stuff, but in this case, the kangaroo was reunited with its owner. If we lived in Australia, I could get this, because I'm like, kangaroos are native to Australia. Who in Florida, outside the zoo in Busch Gardens, got a kangaroo? And apparently it's legal. Where do this kangaroo sleep? Do he sleep in the bed? Do he sleep outside? Where do this kangaroo sleep? Because I got questions. I got real ass questions. There's a lot of, like, do he sit at the table and eat dinner with you? Like, what do kangaroos even eat? Like, I don't know. I just got a lot of questions. And they say once the police reunited it with the owner, the owner had proper registration for the kangaroo. Hi, you lost your kangaroo? I have him right here. Yeah, I guess he was tired and he just hopped away. He hopped out of a bad situation. I don't know. I need I need for Hillsborough County, I need for y'all to release that body cam footage of y'all returning this kangaroo to the owner. I feel like we, the people, need to see this. We need to see this because you can't make this up. The kangaroo was. I feel like I got to put this part in here. The kangaroo was on the loose in the hood, and I'm just glad that people wasn't trying to put their baby in like the kangaroo pouch. And if y'all have ever seen kangaroo videos, kangaroos kick real hard. And I'm just glad that everybody like just filmed it with their phone or whatever, took pictures, but they stayed back and they didn't harass this kangaroo. But like a kangaroo in a swimming pool, that's interesting. That's very interesting. I I don't know what I would have did if I would have seen the kangaroo. Like, mm, I don't know. I don't know, because like a kangaroo, I've seen a dog, I've seen a cat, I've seen a moose, up close. But a kangaroo, I've seen a buffalo up close. I've seen a deer up close. I've seen an eagle up close. A kangaroo? A kangaroo. Listen, I don't know. Unhinged. We unlocked a new level of Jumanji. Had to be because like was you in the bathroom or something and then the kangaroo was like, "Oh, my owner's in the bathroom. Let me just hop on. Let me hop out." Like, did he jump? You know, a kangaroo and he could jump. So did he jump the fence? I need to know how this kangaroo got out. I need to know. I got questions. I have questions, like serious questions. I don't know what to say. I'm glad the kangaroo back with its owner, and I wonder if they got like a ticket for just like how if your dog get out. I wonder if they got a ticket because their kangaroo got out. Like that's a good question. I looked a few places to see if I can get more information on the story, but there wasn't. So I'm gonna have to go back again. I think this is public information, so I might try to look to see if I can find a court record, or not the court record, but to see. No, because they didn't go to court. I need more information. I need more information. Like I'm gonna have to go over there to the hood and be like, "Yo, so was you here when this kangaroo got out? Like, tell me more." And I got a friend that's a cop, so I might have to ask him too. Like, bro, like, tell me about this kangaroo that escaped. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. All right, y'all. We come to the end of the road. And before I let y'all go, I always give y'all a song lyric of the week. So this week we still talking about Women's History Month and celebrating accomplishments and things like that. So I felt like the song that I like and that I use to kind of uplift myself. I felt it'd be good for our song of the week this week. So that's gonna be Kalani, Be All Right. I love that song. When the tide gets high, you just go low. Really good song. So if you've never heard it, go check it out. All right. We at the end of the road. I am your girl, Charlie Shantae. This is the Gag Is Podcast. And I'm going to see y'all next week. Peace.